something that's not cheaper, but it's definitely nightmare fuel. Paramount's Clifford, the Big Red Dog, has been delayed from its September 17th. Yeah, if you look at the picture and you're wondering, like, why did he say it's nightmare fuel? Look at that. Just look at it. Look at it.
It's not.
That's terrifying.
I don't know, but I'm like trying to think of like how would they fix this? Besides, I guess like make it like more cartoony and less realistic dog-like, but I don't even know. Like you can fix it obviously because Sonic the Hedgehog went back and fixed all their problems, but I would be okay with not having to watch that movie.
Yeah, it's being stated as being delayed due to the Delta variant. I would argue it should be delayed just because it's an abomination to the Lord, whichever one you worship or don't worship. If you're a Cthulhu worshiper, sure, like it's an abomination to him as well. It doesn't even look at the shot I gave you. It doesn't even look good in the scene. But again, maybe they cleaned it up in the tiny pad. So yeah, there are no dates, no word yet if it's going to be on the 2021 calendar at all or get pushed to next year. But we'll report on that once we find out.
I don't know how they would fix this, but maybe this will give them some time to like get some feedback. Hopefully, people do get them feedback and just be like, "No, we don't want to have nightmares about giant dog."
Mm-hmm. All right, so this is Taika Waititi, but producer John Davis was given an interview about the recent Rock, Emily Blunt, Jungle Cruise movie over on Disney. It came out this past weekend. It was doing an interview for that and talked about the Flash Gordon movie. So Taika Waititi is producing, creating that, and originally it was going to be an animated movie, and Taika was so adamant that like, you know what? No, I think it's going to be live action, and John Davis agreed. So if you remember the original Flash Gordon, the Queen soundtrack, now no word yet on what this is actually going to entail, how in depth it's going to, like if it's just a straight up remake from the original movie or the Gordon serials, like don't know that yet. But Taika Waititi's been on a hot streak recently. So, or what, like the last 5 or 6 years?
Yeah. Yeah. It's been a while. He's been doing some solid work.
Yeah. And again, it's been longer than that, but I'm talking about as far as like him actually, you're right. As far as getting that recognition and getting, now it's like everything he touches is getting greenlit. So yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, ever since Thor Ragnarok, he's pretty much been like golden boy. So I don't know. That's exciting. I want them to have like a dope soundtrack for it for sure, but I don't know what you can do to like get a Queen level dope soundtrack. Like who would you bring in for that?
So this is not saying get Kendrick Lamar. This is not what I'm saying.
Okay.
Because I don't think it matches. And again, I don't know who's even leading it, but I think it needs to be something like that because it's like, I don't think the Black Panther soundtrack, well, it might be as iconic as that. We might have to give it some time. Because Flash Gordon, we're thinking about the intro song. I'm not saying the rest of the thing isn't great, but like everyone thinks about that Flash. And so I think you need someone in that. Again, I'm not saying it's got to be Lamar, but I think someone that's gonna like dive into that project and like
somebody who's gonna like take hold of it.
Yeah. It's like you're not just making songs for a movie. It's like this needs to like put some like that's the Kendrick Lamar album. Mm-hmm. That's how I view that album. It's like that's a Kendrick Lamar album. And it was about Black Panther. So he made an album like I'm gonna make this about Black Panther. Like that's what someone needs to do. It's like make an album that's for Flash Gordon, not just be like, oh, I'm making a movie soundtrack.
Right. But I'm not sure. Yeah, I like that concept. I agree. I'm just trying to think of like who would be good for this.
I mean, Daft Punk would have been perfect.
Punk would have been perfect. Maybe they'll do a comeback for it or something. I don't know.
Man, because the Tron soundtrack.
I love that movie because of that soundtrack.
That's a perfect comparison. They would have, because those are two movies released similar time frames, similar, not similar musically, but just as far as genre and era, as far as like wackiness and
now you're gonna theory craft.
Yes, I will. Wow. All right, so. James Gunn got ousted from Marvel for things he'd already apologized for, which is the reason he went to DC to do the Suicide Squad. And then Disney realized how dumb that was to succumb to pressure of things he'd already admitted to. And the things were just a bad tweet. Like, I think people need to remember that too. Like, he made a bad joke back in like the infancy of Twitter. So I bring that up because that's the whole reason that James Gunn is even in the position to talk to DC and Marvel in this way.
Yeah.
So he has pitched the idea of a crossover Marvel/DC movie. Now, this is not like a huge team. He wasn't like pitching Avengers versus Justice League or anything like that. So before you get your hopes up of like, oh, the epic battle. No, that's not what's happening here. Although, you never know. Let's see what happens with this first. But he was teasing possibly a Harley Quinn/Groot movie. So kind of get the Suicide Squad members with the Guardians members.
I like it.
And yeah, I mean, he's in both of those franchises. Those are the two that he knows the best. So yeah, I don't think that's a crazy idea.
No,
I think it's pretty solid.
Well, the timing of it would be appropriate too, given the introduction of who I lovingly refer to as Danky Kang. His introduction into everything, it opens the door for something like this to happen.
Yeah. Also, the white-haired James Gunn really threw me for a loop, but I need everyone to look at James Gunn's stubble because it's been right in our face the entire time. I didn't realize it. I'm assuming he's been coloring his hair. Because all right, so look at the stubble, and I'm gonna show you the next photo.
Okay.
Boom.
Oh.
I don't hate it. I mean, this is probably not the best flattering photo of him. He's got better photos with the white hair or the whitish grayish hair. I don't know. I kind of like it. I think he's going to probably turn into like a... Say that again.
It's like Ultra Instinct James Gunn.
I'm going to put that in the show title. We discussed...
We're going to call this clip now.
We discussed Ultra Instinct James Gunn.
I'm going to edit that later. Yeah.
Hey, James, if this has been your natural hair color, go ahead, baby. Go ahead. It's looking good on you.
Yeah, he could rock that.
Probably terrify some people, but it's all right. All right. So that was the Cinephile segment. We are going to move on to